Hey there, beautiful world. It's Snipe You out here with a little bit of a different thing than usual. I know I always say that, but that's because I'll upload whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want, whenever I can. It's been a couple days because I've had some issues with the interwebs not being working and stuff. But today we're going to be doing a how to build a deck for new players or intermediate players who want to go to like the midnight releases and be able to build something on the fly. I really think that the toolkits help with that a lot more than just buying a bunch of random packs. Because this would be like practice pants. It gives you a bunch of good cards that you probably wouldn't pull in a draft, but it's like a simulation of best case scenario for everybody out there who's never done a draft. I'm 100% behind toolkits. I love them. Every time I've gotten a toolkit, I've never been disappointed. I love all the cards it comes with. It's like an instant collection kind of deal, but better than what you would pay $20 for on eBay to get a bunch of uncommons that you'll never ever use. For the most part, the semi-randomized cards that they give you are either going to be reprinted or really good for current set. With this specific box that we picked up today, it's older. It's actually the M13 box. It was printed in 2012. So not retro, obviously, maybe classic if you want to call it that. But this is the set that has Nico Bolas in it, which is what I'm hoping to pull. Wink, wink. Probably not going to pull it. But we're going to be working on a deck. I have my manager off to my right.
Right.
She does my makeup. Yeah. So I'm going to open this up and teach you guys how to build a pretty basic deck. Nothing too crazy, but I'll give you some tips and pointers on how to draft properly and all that cool stuff. Alright, so here we go. Nice little box. Older box, like I said. I have my trusty toolkit opening knife, which is the only action this knife is probably ever going to see in a nice part of South Florida. But let's cut it open. So yeah, like I said, I'm an advocate of these boxes. I love them. I love everything that they come with, especially the reusability of just a box itself. Even if you were to throw out all the cards, you're still getting like this super badass box. Especially with this set, this Nico Bolas box is just the most badass box out of all of them. I actually like it a lot more than the this M15 box that comes with Garruk, just because I'm sick of seeing Garruk. But we're gonna start out. We open the packs last. Ooh, it's fresh. I'm not used to that. But yeah, this M13 box is gonna come with Innistrad, Dark Ascension, Avician Restored, and a 2013 Core Set pack. So actually, so far this pack is already pretty well for paying for itself. This is a $6 pack, this is a $7 pack, and this is an $8 pack. And then a Core Set pack usually will run you between $5 to $7 depending on how old they start getting. So far right off the bat, I'm already making my money back just in these 4 packs, which I'm probably going to have to go pick up more of these boxes from my secret spot. But it comes with this. Throw it away. You don't need it. It comes with these. Throw them away. You don't need them. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do everything. This is the meat. I would say these are the potatoes, because every single Magic video I've ever seen, people talk about meat and potatoes. We're going to be doing these one at a time. So I'm going to start with this. I'm pretty sure this is my basic lands. Every time, no matter what you're doing, whether you're drafting, whether you're opening a set, whether you're opening a single pack, whether you're opening a bunch of packs, every Magic player, new and old, if you're a newer player watching this video, what you want to do is split your colors. I think these packs do 4 colors. Yeah, these packs are really weird. They do 4 colors, and then they drop off. So 4 colors. We're gonna go green, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Try to get these closer. I mean, super basic stuff here, guys. Nothing crazy. I'm splitting the lands first, just so we can see what we're working with. I mean, obviously it should be enough lands to play with, but gives me a little bit more time to talk about the packs and everything. So yeah, 285 cards. So a little less than half of them is going to be your lands, which I'm okay with that. You know, everyone needs lands. When you first start playing, a toolkit will definitely help with your land base, even with a smaller deck, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is 12 lands, so about half of what you actually need to make a deck. So with a toolkit, you could probably make a 2-color deck, unless if one of these other ones has more lands in it. So we'll go with this Evolving Wilds one, which I think might be the actual good cards. Let's see, we've got Evolving Wilds. Yeah, so it's a trick. It's a trap, everybody. Don't fall for the Evolving Wilds. It's not just garbage. So we've got Evolving Wilds, Intangible Virtue, so it's going to go white, black. Tangible Virtue, creature tokens, get +1/+1 and have Vigilance. That's a fun card if you were to draft that. If you know what set you're going into, I mean, I wouldn't first pick that, but that's me. I mean, if you're going into a set like Avacyn Restored or something, Avacyn Restored, sorry. If you're going into a set like that, then you might want to draft that because of how much token power there is. Like, next card is going to be Moan of the Hollowed, so put 2/2/2 black zombie tokens out. Yeah, so the top, it looks like all these cards are actually in a good little order. So the top couple cards we got actually all go together, so I'm going to keep these all together. All of these have to deal with tokens. So creature tokens get +1/+1 and have Vigilance. Put 2/2/2 black tokens out. Put 3/1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Put 2/1/1 white human creature tokens. Exile target card from a graveyard. Put a 2/2 black zombie token. This is put 2/1/1 white tokens. So this would be like ideal drafting situations if you were to pull all these cards, you know, all your little ducks in a row for like a good little standard, just a token deck, a white-black token build. Nothing too crazy. Oh, yeah. So it's in between each Evolving Wilds. I'm pretty sure each toolkit does this. In between each Evolving Wilds is another set. So there's a couple more cards that deal with tokens, just some repeats. So that whole first set is actually a pretty decent set if you want to mess with people with tokens. I think just these couple cards right here get you more than 10 tokens, and they'll give them all +2/+2 and give them Vigilance. So another Evolving Wilds. And then we got some green here. And this green is going to be... This is your standard mean green kind of setup. So give a creature a 1/1 token. Whenever he enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on something. So it's your basic mean green, nothing too big, other than your Roaring Primodox. But I don't really like Roaring Primodox because you have to keep putting him back into your hand. And if you don't put him back into your hand, then you have to put another enchantment back into your hand. Or another creature back to your hand, so not fun. So another Evolving Wilds. So we have another set here, which is going to be... Wow. This is beautiful. This is the Knight of Glory. So Exile or Exalted. Love Exalted cards. They're a lot of fun to play with. You swing in with him, he automatically makes himself a 3/2 for a 2-drop. This is an enchantment that has Exalted. So if you have him out and this out, he gets +2/+2 if he swings by himself. This has Exalted. Yeah, so this is a nice little Exalted set right here for white-black. And this one just enchant creature, give it flying. That's a nice little touch for the Exalted, just so you can start swinging in for lethal pretty quick. That's a nice little pack right there. Yeah, basic Exalted set. So another Evolving Wilds. This last set is going to be This is what I would assume that you're going to mix with the tokens, because it's white, blue, flying. So it's evasion cards, give your creatures flying, take flying away from your opponent's creatures. Just basic flyer stuff. So in that pack that we got, that was 4 sets. So you could, this is pretty much what you're going to be doing with the deck when you get a toolkit. You're going to be splitting your Evolving Wilds into the 4 different like archetypes that they give you when you open it, and then you can kind of run a deck off that. Like if you're having a hard time making your own deck, then you would take these cards right here. You see what they all have in common, and then once you open the rest of these, you see what can fit with this. So it's a really cool, like, it's a really nice idea that they give you that kicker, like, for newer players. Like, I know a lot of people don't know about the Evolving Wilds split, but for newer players, it gives you, like, a base idea for your deck, and you don't have to be too worried about, you know, going overboard, like, overloading your brain and, like, blowing yourself out super quick on how am I supposed to build a deck, what is it supposed to be about. It's a base idea. Next we got, this one's opening up with an Arbor Elf. For some newer players, it's just an Elvish Mystic. Which, by the way, is the most overpowered card in Standard. Just kidding. Let's see. So this is starting off with some green. Let's see. Alright, so this one's split by colors, I'm assuming. Yeah. So this one's split by colors. So we got ourselves, you know, untap target forest, untap target forest. This one's Death Touch with Flash. So you can play him like instant speed. Nice little 2-drop you have there. Geist Trappers. He's got Soulbound. Soulbound is an older mechanic that they don't use anymore. So you would Soulbind him with this one. So they attack together and they defend together. And when one dies, the other one stays. But they both take damage at the same time. So Soulbound. They stopped using it just because it was a really weird mechanic. Another Soulbound card. So you would pretty much Soulbind these two together, making them essentially a 9/9. Yeah. You'd Soulbind these two together, making them a 9/9 whenever they attack or block together. So, and they get a nice little boost whenever they are bonded with another creature like this one. This one gives both creatures trample, and this one gives both of them reach. Sorry about that. People like to call me when I'm busy. But getting back to where we were, so Soulbond, he gives both of the creatures trample. This one would give them both reach. So essentially it's a 9/9. They're both 9/9s with reach. Or they're 1 9/9 with reach when they're attacking or blocking with trample. So a lot of fun going on with this Soulbond. I know why they took it out, because it's not practical whatsoever to Soulbond things. But getting into some of the other cards, so something like this gives itself +2/+2 as long as it's your turn. So it's a 5-drop for a 5/5 on your turn. On their turn, it's a 3/3. So nothing good. A nice little combat trick that we have here, Titanic Growth. I don't like combat tricks when it comes to green cards, but everyone has to win somehow. For newer players, I would suggest using combat tricks and swinging in with something weak so they don't block, like swing in with him because he's got Death Touch, and then, you know, give him +4/+4, so he's a 6/4, he's a 6/5 swinging in. And if they do block with one of their bigger creatures, he's got Death Touch, and then you swing in for big. Pretty basic stuff here. Like I said, it's just a couple tips and tricks when it comes to opening these boxes. We've got a Farseek. So you search your library for a island, forest, plains, or mountain. You put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then you shuffle your library. 2-drop, nothing crazy, pretty basic stuff. You could substitute that for Evolving Wilds. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I mean, green, if you have these two Arbor Elves, they're pretty much doing what this does for free. Same thing with this, Ranger's Path. Put 2 forests out onto the battlefield tapped. Nothing crazy again. This situational card, an instant to destroy an artifact or enchantment, and you gain 3 life. Some newer players might fall for that as being, oh yeah, I get to destroy one of their things and then I gain life. But most newer players don't understand how situational that is, where I usually don't even have an enchantment in my deck or any artifacts, and if I do, I don't really need them, so you destroying it is just you blowing 3 mana to gain 3 life. This card is super underrated. Prey Upon. Target creature you control fights a creature you don't control. So let's say they have out something big and they're not swinging with it because you got this little death touch guy right here. You'll force them to fight so they deal damage to each other. It's a nice, like, combat tricks are fun, especially in green decks, because green decks, people don't see it coming. You'll see the combat tricks coming with red and you'll see them coming with blue, but as far as green, you just expect people with green decks to just swing in heavy and swing in loud. The next set of cards we got running here is an odd mix. There's a couple reds, a couple blacks, a couple greens, or blue, colorblind, and whites. So, just, again, a bunch of basic cards. Nothing too crazy. This one would be perfect for your token deck because her power and toughness equal to the number of creatures you have out. So, Oblivion Ring, I know that was a lot of fun. People still like using that card. But, so nothing outstanding other than Vampire Nighthawk in this little stack that I grabbed where he's flying Death Touch Lifelink, which he's a nice little wall that will stop anything. Only card that I could remark on in that set. Another Roaring Primodox. Yeah, so not too many cards in that. The rest of the cards in this one are all lands. So far in lands we've got, a nice little stack of lands to build a deck. So it does give you enough lands to build a standard deck, but it also leaves you kind of slacking on the cards for those 2 packs. Nothing too remarkable out of this, just some good ideas. Other than the Vampire Nighthawk, nothing too remarkable, but we'll get to the last pack that my manager is shoving in my face that I won't forget about. And this one's starting off with an artifact. I mean, you can choose if you like the artifacts or not. I'm not that big of a fan of artifacts. I mean, M15, they have a bunch of trickery with the artifacts, so again, just nothing too out of this world. Couple lifelinkers, so when he dies you put a 1/1 out, again for that token deck. When this one enters the battlefield, you put a 1/1 white human token onto the battlefield. So again, token deck. Same exact thing with this, you put a 1/1 token out. This one, he's a 1-drop. When you play him, you gain 3 life. I guess for a 1-drop, that's not really too bad. I wouldn't first pick that, unless if the pack was horrible. But, I mean, first turn you gain 3 life, that's alright with me. This card, out of the whites we got here, see if there's anything too remarkable. No. Nothing too crazy out of here. I mean, Cloud Shift is a really fun combat trick, where if you have like for instance, when he enters the battlefield you gain 3 life, you can Cloud Shift him out, and he exiles and he comes right back, so you gain that 3 life back. You could even call him as a blocker and then swap him out and the attack goes nowhere and you gain 3 life. Cloud Shift is a fun little card to use. But again, they're just more cards to add to that the pre-packs that they gave you. The blue cards that they got in here, just blue trickery really. Just return cards to their hand, draw cards, return an instant from your graveyard to your hand. He can only block creatures with flying. Put the top card of your library into the graveyard and add 1 mana to your pool. So it's a colorless mana, that's weird. Welkin Turns, everyone loves their Welkin Turns. Scroll Thieves. We got Thought Scour. Counter target creature spell. It's nice that it's 1 and colorless instead of like Nullify where it's 2 colored. This is counter target non-creature spell, so if they're going to try to play an enchantment on you or something, you flip it on them. Draw a couple cards, which is always good. It's a lot better to draw cards than you think because this game is 100% chance. So drawing cards heightens your chances to get what you actually want. Curse of the Bloody Time, so you enchant a player, and every time, or at the beginning of that player's upkeep, they put the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. So you would enchant your opponent, and essentially they're milling themselves. You can enchant yourself to mill yourself, mill your own deck through. If you're going to go with black and blue to get those zombies to come back out, and then just encrust, still around. Like I said, a lot of these cards have been reprinted, so it's pretty nice. Even if you go back and you pick up one of these older sets like this, you get a bunch of reprinted cards, and you even get some really good cards just for messing around. Vampire Interloper. So the black cards are going to be like the vampires, the shade card, the rats, the bats, a spirit, another vampire, a 3-drop with lifelink. So you're going to see a lot of lifelink with black cards. Nothing too crazy. Sign in Blood, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. You could do that to your opponent to win the game. Return a zombie from your graveyard to your hand. Some murders, which I think this is the most overpowered removal spell ever made. It's a 3-drop just to destroy a target creature. So you just blow something up on the field for 3 mana. Duress, Deadweight, give something -2/-2, and Victim of the Night, destroy a non-vampire, non-zombie, non-werewolf creature for 2 mana at instant speed. So again, it's a 2-drop to just blow something up. Unless if you're playing a vampire deck, then I don't know why you didn't sideboard that out. But red, so red is super basic. Burn card, intimidate, burn card, intimidate, discard, draw, a heavy hitter for way too much mana, Searing Spear, so burn card, gain control of a creature, untap it, it gains haste, Brimstone Valley, so it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. If something died this turn, it deals 5 damage instead. Destroy a land or an artifact, so burn card basically. Put 2 goblins out, and then just a couple more burns just to deal out 2 damage. So a lot of super duper basic. There's 3 stragglers on the end here that were just at the bottom. So just 3 more green cards. Draw a card, add a white mana to your pool, and this one is whenever he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card and reveal it and put it into your hand. So green, slight amounts of mana ramp, but let's get into the milk and cookies, what we all want to see. Alright, so we're at the bread and butter. I brought my manager in, aka my girlfriend. We're going to be opening packs. I'm going to let her go first. If she finds anything super crazy, we're going to just do a quick run through of the pack to see if there's anything. You know, so far out of what we got, you can build a pretty decent deck. There's a couple different decks that you can build. You could do a token life gain deck. You could do a black removal deck. Real basic decks, but we're going to be going through that once it's all over and done.
So we started with Innistrad. And we're starting off with Crossway Vampire. It's a red card. Lost in the Mist. Good counter target spell for the blue. Kessig Wolf. It's another red card. I'm just going to hand them off to him so he can show you. The Silver Chase Fox. It's a white card. 2-drop.
Interesting card. A 2-drop 2/2 is always good. Its effect, tap 2 to exile target enchantment. I mean, 2-drop 2/2, I would first pick it over a 5-drop counter target spell.
This is Traveler's Amulet. It's an artifact, and you get to search your library for a basic land card, but you have to put it into your hand. Some of them they let you put directly onto the battlefield, so I don't necessarily know how good that one is. Dark Thicket Wolf, green, my favorite.
She is the mean green trample machine.
Ambush Viper, flash and death touch, so you can do that one just like it's an instant.
So we've got two of these. So this is a good example for when you're drafting. You might pull two things, and the first time you saw it, you might have let it slip by, but never let a 2-drop flash death touch card slip by. Never let a low drop death touch card slip by, just because it's drafting. You only have 40 cards to work with within your deck, and you really don't want to blow it on them getting that 1-drop death touch where you have a 6/6 out and you can't do anything with it.
This is Abby Griffin. It's a white card. It has flying and vigilance. So it's a 4-drop, 1 white. I would like that card because it has the vigilance.
Little expensive for me.
I would invest, but that's me. Sensory Deprivation. It's a blue card.
Probably one of the coolest arts I've seen today. I love that.
That's the difference between us. I would have said it was creepy. Midnight Haunting. Instant.
Alright, so again, we've pulled one of these in our packs, so it puts out a couple tokens, so that would immediately go into the token deck if you're looking at that.
Hollow-Hinged Scavenger is one of our...
Second rare card is, he's a Morbid, so if something died this turn before he enters the battlefield, when he does enter the battlefield, you gain 5 life. A 5-mana 4/5 is never too bad, and a Morbid is just a little extra. I know there's not too much life gain in green if you're not going to go green-white, but if you're going to go mono-green and you see him and there's nothing else green in the pack, I would just, say go ahead and pick him up and try to save mono.
So I am probably going to butcher this name, but it's Paraceline. It's good if you're up against an enchantment deck and you don't have any enchantments and you want to sideboard this in. It's a sorcery, so it can only be played on your turn.
Yeah, sorcery speed, I usually complain about, but this against any Nyx deck would pretty much screw them over, destroy all their cards, and then you gain a life for each card destroyed. I have a couple decks that by itself would decimate.
So Kessig Cagebreakers, our gold is a green card, and you get a 2/2.
Alright, so whenever he attacks, you put a 2/2 wolf token onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking, for each card in your graveyard. For each card in your graveyard.
Every time.
When he attacks, if I've got 3 cards in my graveyard, I get 3 2/2 green wolf tokens tapped and attacking. This card for a 5-drop, I would first pick this. I would draft this out of this pack that we pulled. I would first pick this, just because you can really let some of them weaker cards that you got just go. Just kill them. I don't need them. And then when I get this thing out, it's the end game.
So we had the next card was just a token, and then we have a changeling here.
Ooh, we got ourselves a werewolf. So 3-drop 2/3, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, he turns into a 4/6. So it goes boom.
He starts as Villagers of Estwald, and he changes into Howlpack of, what's the name?
It is Howlpack of Estwald. So let's get on to our second pack. Alright, so we're back for pack number 2. Sorry for the interruption in between packs, but pack number 2 is going to be Avacyn Restored. So hopefully we get something good in this pack. The first pack we did manage to pull Kessig Cagebreakers, which would be a lot of fun to draft that card just because no one would really see that coming. I haven't opened too many packs of Avacyn Restored, so pardon me not knowing too many of the cards. But we're starting out with Elgod Shieldmate, a soulbound card, and everything that's soulbound with her has hexproof. So that's a nice little card right there for blue, giving everything hexproof. Red card, discard your hand and then draw 2 cards. That'd be fun if it was the only card in your hand. So play it and just draw a couple cards. Prevent all damage that would be dealt by creatures other than target creature this turn. So green, another combat trick for green. Instant speed is my favorite, but I don't know about that specific card. I wouldn't draft it. 3-drop, 2/2. Whenever he attacks, human creatures get +1/+0. That's very situational. You have to be running like a human creature deck unless you're just hoping that you pull another human. Let's see. 4-drop, 2/2. Undead Executioner. When he dies, you can have a target creature get -2/-2. Really cool art. Not a cool card. Sometimes they just have to print extra cards for the set, I guess. Not really getting too much out of him. Mid-Vast Protector, 4-drop, white creature. When he enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains protection from color of your choice until end of turn. So, this is, I mean, I might draft it. There doesn't really seem to be anything else in this pack yet. If I pull something better, then this is obviously out of the question, but this would be nice if you're running up against like a 1-color deck. You just give something protection.
I would put that one on the side.
We got a 2-drop Scalding Devil. So just a burn card, basic devil card. Nothing special about him whatsoever. We got Wandering Wolf. Creatures with less power than him can't block him. So 1/1s can't block him, which for constructed he's useless. For drafting, maybe, depending on how many ones you see. We've only seen a couple in this pack alone, so I mean a 2-drop 2/1 is okay, but that effect could be better. Another Borderland Ranger, so when you play him, you put a land card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. So nothing too crazy there. We get into the rare cards. The first rare card is Howlgeist. Creatures with less power can't block him, so same thing as the other wolf, but this one has Undying. So the first time they send him to the graveyard, he comes back with a 1/1 counter on him, so he becomes a 5/3.
So do you want to kill him?
Yeah, basically. This card looks cool as shit, but Thunderous Wrath. He deals 5 damage to creature or player. And Miracle, you can cast this card for its Miracle when you draw it if it's the first card you drew this turn. Oh, so there you go. This would be first pick draft for me if I was running a red burn deck, because if you draw this, when you draw this, if it's the first card you're drawing in the turn, you just tap 1 and you just 5 damage straight away for 1 mana. That's a really good card. That's amazing. And I love that those lines up there. I haven't really seen too many cards with that. But definitely cool looking. Builder's Blessing. So, untapped creatures you control get +0/+2. So a nice little, if you were going to run that token deck we were talking about, it would give all of your tokens +0/+2 when they're untapped, so they can actually do something. We got Alchemist's Refuge, which looks like a dual land, kind of. You can tap to add 1 mana to your pool, tap a green or a blue, and tap this, and you can cast non-land cards as though they had flash. So that's kind of cool. You can cast your creatures as if they had flash on your opponent's turn, so you can kind of fuck with your opponents in that aspect. An island, and then we got a shiny, which this is actually a really good first pick draft card. A 2-drop flying defender, so a 0/4 with flying, just in case they were able to bring something out. And the fact that it's shiny, just a nice little touch. So out of this pack, if I was going with the white token deck, I'd actually have a few things to pick from with Baldur's Blessing, Angelic Wall. If I was going to go red, I'd Thunderous Wrath, deal 5 damage, you draw it, you play it, 5 damage straight away.
And we're going to go right into the Dark Ascension pack. Yeah, it's Dark Ascension.
She's new at this.
You open your packs like that?
I don't bite my packs. Comment down below, do you bite your packs to open them, or do you pull? Do you ziplock it, or do you bite it?
I bite everyone. Shriekgeist. Go ahead.
Alright, so a 2 2-drop flyer, 1/1 for blue. Whenever he deals combat damage, that player puts the top 2 cards. So a milling card. I know we had a couple other milling cards that we pulled. That looks like fun to mess with your opponent, but I don't know if I'd first pick it.
This would be good for playing against another enchantment deck. Tap enchanted creature.
This one's weird. I don't think I'd play it. Seems a little funny to me. Enchanted creature, and then you pay 1 mana to tap an enchanted creature. So essentially, they play their biggest thing. You tap 1 to enchant this to that creature, and then you tap a mana to tap down their biggest creature. They can't untap it.
Which is good because he has an enchantment deck. He's really good with it.
No, you enchant it to a creature, and then that enchanted creature becomes tapped, not an enchanted creature.
Faithless looting.
Faithless looting. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and then you can flashback it for 3. So for 1 mana, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, flashback it for 3 from your graveyard to draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards.
Clinging Mist.
Prevent all damage that would have been dealt this turn if you have 5 or less life. Tap all attacking creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controllers. Next, untap step. So Fateful Hour. So Fateful Hour is if you have 5 or less health, this activates. But so you'd be preventing all damage, and then you'd be tapping everything they got, and they don't untap. So it kind of gives you 1 extra turn if you really need it. That card is super situational. Instant speed 3-drop. If you have it at the right time, I could see it saving a game, but again, that you'd have to have it in your hand.
Executioner's Hood. Equipped creature has Intimidate.
Ooh. So you're paying 4 to give something Intimidate. I might sideboard this just if I'm running up against someone who has none of my colors, and because that art is cool looking.
Talons of Falcon Wrath. Red card. Flash.
So a 2-drop flash enchant creature. This creature, so it's pretty much what most dragons will do. You tap 2 and you give it +2/+0. So it's a nice little flash card. You can flash it out and just mess with somebody when they're swinging in at you.
Another token card. Gather the Townsfolk. Put 2 1/1s.
Yep. So this is another one of the ones that we had gotten from the pack earlier. So you put 2 1/1s out. More tokens.
Falcon Wrath Torturer. Vampire.
So a 3-drop vampire, sacrifice a creature, he gains flying until end of turn. If you sacrificed a human, you put a 1/1 counter on him. So I could see a white-black mixed deck with him, but I want to go out of my way to draft him.
Heavy Matic.
So enchant creature gets +1/+1. If it's a human, it gets an additional +1/+1. So you equip it to a human creature, it gets +2/+2. That's a little much to invest 5 mana into for me.
Curse of Thirst.
Curse of Thirst. So our first rare card from this pack. Enchant player. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, the Curse of Thirst deals damage to that player equal to the number of curses attached to him or her. So 1, if you have 1 equipped, if you just want to mess with somebody, you just curse them up all day and just watch them kill themselves.
So Grave Tiller Worm. It's a green trample. Morbid.
So a 6-drop 4/4 with trample, and if another creature died this turn, he comes in with 4 1/1 counters. So you'd essentially, if you can get something, swing in with something stupid, hope it dies, you can play an 8/8 for 6 mana with trample. So, I mean, I don't think I'd first pick it. Maybe, depending on how this pack looks, especially with that Kessig Gatekeepers, kind of forcing Kessig to gain more wolf tokens to get that Grave Tiller out.
Blood Feud. Sorcery.
Target creature fights another target creature. So this is like I was saying about that red card or that green card, but the green card is a 1-drop. This is a 6-drop for 2 to fight. So that's a rare card.
And our gold card is Alpha Brawl. It's a sorcery.
Alright, so we got Alpha Brawl. I'm just going to guess that with how much mana it costs, you're not going to play this card. It's an 8-drop. Target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to each other creature that player controls. Then each of those creatures deal damage equal to its power back to that creature. So all the creatures on your opponent's side of the field pretty much fight one creature, and then that one creature fights them all back. not worth 8 mana. If you get into 8 mana during a draft game, both of you guys are doing something wrong. We got a second gold card actually. So we got a werewolf. Wolf-bitten captive. So you tap 2, you give him +2/+2 until the end of turn. You can only activate that ability once. He's a 1-drop 1/1. Then at the beginning of your upkeep, if no spells were cast, he transforms into a 2/2. You can tap 4 and he gets +4/+4. So, I mean, for a 1-drop 1/1 to tap 2 to make him a 3/3, that's pretty decent. I'm not going to complain about that. And then if you can get him to turn to the werewolf, it's just an extra, like a little extra gift. But I'd say from this pack, my top pick would be, God, what would it be? I'd either go with, let me see. I mean, I might even go with the werewolf. Just because 1-drop 1/1 for green, the
You're
werewolf.
asking somebody who likes the green, so.
Yeah, she's the green. So I'd either go with werewolf or Grave Tiller Worm. I mean, they're both the green cards, but nothing else really struck me in this pack. Not a strong pack. I mean, we were luckily we pulled the werewolf, so you know, 1-drop 1/1 never will do you wrong if it can essentially get bigger for no mana, no moss, to make itself into a 2/2, and then you can pour a little bit into it. So we got that. And the last pack that we're getting out of this is going to be an M13 core set. You know, usually a bunch of reprints in these packs. There's always a chance of getting something really cool in a core set. If it's a Chandra, I'm going to rip it up in front of all of you guys because I've pulled more Chandras than anybody else I know. So last pack we asked, do you guys bite them open? Do you guys rip them open? Or do you like to give your cards collared t-shirts? But we're going to be starting out red here. Chandra's Fury. So 4 damage to player and then 1 damage to each creature that player controls. Super powerful burn card. I love it, I love it, I love it. You can board wipe someone who's running a token deck and deal them 4 damage at the same time. Really strong red card, followed by a really strong blue card, especially for draft. Mind Sculpt, send the top 7 cards to their graveyard. That is just unprecedented. When you're running a 40 card deck, you cannot miss any cards. Even if 5 of those cards are mana, I'm just screwing your whole flow for the rest of the game. So 2 super strong draft worthy cards. Another Farseek, so you pull a basic land from your deck and you put it on the battlefield tapped. Don't draft it. 3-drop with Exalted. So if you were going to be running all those Exalted cards that we got earlier, this would be in that deck for sure. 3-drop 3/1 doesn't really lose out. When it swings by itself, it becomes a 4/2 for 3 mana. Essentially super good. Combat Trick. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of turn. No. That's it. Just no. This is a super powerful pack. It's got a murder in it. So 3 mana, you destroy a creature. Followed by a Walking Corpse again. Just a 2-drop 2/2. Beautiful, beautiful pack here. A Goblin Arsonist, so when he dies, you have it deal 1 damage to target creature or player. I wouldn't recommend first picking that, but if it came back around again, I would recommend picking it up the second time. Especially with that Thunderous Wrath, the Chandra's Fury, just a whole bunch of nonsense going on with these 4 packs. Bountiful Harvest, no, never, don't ever play this card. Never play this card. It's a 5-drop. You gain 1 life for each land you control. So minimum you're gaining 5 life. There's 1,000 cards that you can tap 1 to gain 3 life, or tap 4 to gain 8 life, or tap 3 to gain 2 life for each creature on the field. Never play Bountiful Harvest. It's a horrible card. Never do it. Fairy Invaders. You flash it out. It's a flash flyer. So 5-drop 3/3 flyer with flash. That's a maybe if you were running blue and you needed something just to spice up the game a little bit. Getting back into the rares now. We got Angelic Benediction. So Exalted, again, another strong pack with the two Exalted cards you're getting out of this. And whenever a creature you control attacks alone, you can tap the target creature. So if your opponent only has one thing and you have a bunch of Exalted out, you're tapping down their biggest thing and you're just swinging in for as much as you can with one creature. Wow. So Oblivion Ring, again, this is probably the most powerful pack. There's just a lot to pick from this pack. Exile another permanent until he leaves the battlefield. And after that, we got Arms Dealer. Sacrifice a goblin. Arms Dealer deals 4 damage to target creature. And so a 3-drop 1/1. I wouldn't recommend it. But we've got Xanthrid Gorgon here. She's a 6-drop. Death Touch. 3/6. So if you were going black and you were getting towards the end of the draft, or even at the beginning of the draft, and you pulled this up, you'd probably think immediately, I'm going to make a black deck. You can tap 3 and tap her. You put a petrification counter on target creature. It gains Defender and becomes an artifact, a colorless artifact in addition to its other types, and its abilities cannot be activated. So they've got their biggest baddie out, and you just turn it into a Defender. It can't attack, it can't swing, it can't activate its abilities. It's just a block. It turns their biggest, baddest thing into a block of nothing. And 2 nothings to end the pack. But super strong pack. I love black cards. This is a super strong pack for a black player. With the Servant of Nerafox, the Murder, the Walking Corpse, and Xanthrid Gorgon. I'd go Xanthrid Gorgon just because I feel like if this pack was going to be passed around, one of these other black cards would be passed up over for something else. So super good pack for this last pack. Everything's looking good. We're going to get the cards in order real quick, and then we're going to run over the how to build a deck part. Alright, so I went ahead and made a deck. I'm not going to go through every card again and tell you guys what to use and what not to use. The obvious choice for what we had pulled was the white token life gain deck, but I don't like obvious choices, so I ended up going with red, black, burn destruction, if you want to call it that. Let me just start off with the 1-drops. Duty Bound Dead, 1-drop Exalted, 0/2. You can tap 4 to regenerate him. He's really in there for the Exalted because he's a 1-drop, and Exalted is sweet, especially with some of the later cards where you got 1 dead weight, -2/-2. If anything, it's just a removal card. So 1 dead weight, 1 Duty Bound Exalted. 2 Pillar of Flames, deal 2 damage, and if the creature dies, it exiles them. So you guys can pretty much see what I'm going for right now. A lot of removal, a little bit Exalted. So removal is the main point of this deck with the Pillar of Flames, the Murders coming up, stuff like that. We got 1 Duress. I really wished we had pulled 4 because 4 of this card would be super sweet. But they reveal their hand. You choose a non-land, non-creature card, and you discard it. Now, you might be thinking, well, what if they only have creatures and lands? Then you know what they're going to be doing. You have their whole hand in your head. You know what they have. You know they have counters. You know they don't have counters. You know, whatever they have in their hand, you now know. So, Searing Spear, pretty much a lightning strike. Just 3 damage to a creature or player for 2 mana at instant speed. Super sweet. Krenko's Command. So, couple 1/1 goblins for 2 mana. Anytime that you're paying mana for tokens, my personal thing is, am I paying more mana than what I'm getting out of it in tokens? So if I'm paying 2 mana, am I getting 1 token? But I'm paying 2 mana, I'm getting 2 1/1s. So 2 more targets that they have to aim at. I'm down all day for that. We went with Cobbled Wings, since the creatures in this deck either have Exalted or we want them to have flying. So you're paying 3 mana to make something flying. So super cool. So 2 drops. Getting into, see if there's any left. Yep. So victim of the night. So destroy non-vampire, non-werewolf, non-zombie creature. So for the most part, you're not going to be running into too much problems being able to use that card. Knight of Infamy, Exalted, Protection from White, and yeah, Exalted and Protection from White. So again, with the turn 1 Duty Bond, turn 2 Knight of Infamy, you swing in with Knight of Infamy, he's getting +2/+2, so he's a 4/3 on turn 2, or you swing with Duty Bond, he's a 2/4 on turn 2, you know, vice versa. Getting into the 3 drops, we have an all-star for drafting, Vampire Nighthawk, Flying Death Touch Lifelink. If you can get out Duty Bond and Exalted, the Knight of Infamy, and then you swing with him by himself, he automatically becomes a 4/5 Flying Death Touch. Super sweet, super good card. Brimstone Valley, so 3 damage to creature or player for 3 mana, but if you cast it after something died, it deals 5 damage to creature or player, so pretty much big removal for late game in case you use up all 3 of the murders that I put in. Now there's a lot of removal in this deck because when you're running like a minimum 40 card deck and the other person is presumably running the same amount of cards if they want to play the decks right, if you're removing, like, so far we've got like half of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards are removal, so 10 of their creatures are dead. They can't really do too much. We got Servant of Narafox, so more Exalted, 2 of them because I was able to pull 2. So again, 3 drop for 3/1 Exalted. You swing in with 1 creature, it gets a 1/1 counter, or it gets 1/1 until the end of the turn. Markov Patrician for that lifelink, 3 drop 3/1 with lifelink. You give it flying, you swing in with Exalted. You know, essentially you're gaining any life that you had to lose back. Sign in Blood, just 1. You're usually going to use it on yourself. You're going to pay that 2 life to draw a couple cards to make sure the deck's drawing right. We're doing 3 Evolving Wilds to shorten the deck again, to compact everything. Once you get those 3 Evolving Wilds out of the way, your deck is much more likely to draw the way you need it to. Getting into 4 drops, we got Driver of the Dead here. So when he dies, you can bring back any cards with converted mana cost of 2 or less, or return a target creature with converted mana cost of 2 or less. So you can bring back the skeleton, or you can bring back the Knight of Infamy. Couple other 4s we have is Duskmantle Prowler, so Exalted and Haste. So 4 mana for a 2/2. Most people wouldn't do it, but with that Exalted, he's pretty much a 3/3 with Haste. So a 3/3 with Haste. If you have another Exalted out, he's a 4/4 with Haste. If you have 3 Exalted out, you know, he's a 5/5 with Haste. He can get really big really quick, especially with the way that this deck is just removing everything that your opponent's got. We've got Arbiter Ghoul, so first strike, and any creature that he kills, you gain that creature's toughness to your life, and he's a 3/2. So that first strike will usually get through to something eventually, because I know that they don't want to be taking 3, not in a draft match. We put the Chandra's Fury in here, deal 4 damage to the player, and then 1 damage to all the creatures they control, just in case that lightning strike, or just in case any of those removal spells didn't quite do enough damage. This will definitely finish them off. And again, anything that could be used on a creature can also be used on the player, so you can deal them the 3 damage. Super fun. Thunderous Wrath. So this card, super sweet. Miracle. So if, let's say, turn 2 you have out a red mana. Turn 1 you have out a red mana. Turn 2 you draw into Thunderous Wrath. You just tap 1 and you hit them for 5. Or if they have some weird Death Touch feature out, you just hit the Death Touch feature for 5. I would usually recommend swinging at them for 5 with the card, but use it how you will. It's just the deck is just to remove until you're just way too much exalted out. We've got a couple stragglers that were sitting over here. A 3-mana 3/2, and when she enters the battlefield, target creature can't block. So that's a lot of fun, messing with your opponent by making sure that their creatures can't block properly. We got this, put 2/2/2 black zombie tokens on the battlefield. So once again, getting into how I think about it, I'm spending 4 mana. What am I getting for it? I'm spending 4 mana. I'm getting 2/2/2, so I'm getting my mana's worth in creatures. And then you can flashback it from your graveyard for 6 mana. Or 7 mana, you can flashback it from your graveyard, so you exile it and cast it again, and you get the 2/2s. I probably wouldn't flashback it unless if I absolutely had to, or if I had a bunch of exalted out and nothing in my hand. And then you get to swing in with those, and you don't have to worry about your big creatures dying. And then the mother of the deck is Xanthrid Gorgon, just to shut down anything that they were gonna use to kill you in your deck. That'll just shut them up right away. A 3/6 with Death Touch in a constructed or in a drafting circumstances, just not fun to be up against. The mana I'm working on right now, I'm doing 5 black, 5 white with, 5 black, 5 red with the 3 Evolving Wilds. So we'll see how the deck runs. But I do appreciate you guys taking your time. If you have any questions at all, just let me know down below. Make sure to like the video. If you don't like it, dislike it. I'm totally fine with that. But make sure to tell me why you disliked it, if I was talking too fast, or if you guys couldn't see the cards, or if it was too loud, or if I'm too ugly, whatever the reason may be. Thumbs up, thumbs down, like, dislike, comment, don't. But whatever you do, don't show this to your mother.